Good morning, you guys. I'm back in Pop's kitchen. We're going to be making some Kent Rollins inspired gravy, buttermilk, biscuits, and some sausage and bacon. So, let's make this together. Get you a cup of coffee and enjoy your Sunday morning. You're going to need flour, salt, the lemon juice, or you can use vinegar depending on what you have in your kitchen. I have vinegar at my house. My parents have lemon juice. That's what we're going to use to make buttermilk, homemade buttermilk. Cream of tartar, baking powder, some sugar, that old school sifter you don't have to have, but it's nice to have, and some really cold butter. And then if your side of your choice, you can make a sausage gravy. My husband's made a biscuit, he's made a bacon gravy before. Whatever your preference is, we're going to be throwing some bacon on the Blackstone. You hit the baby in the background, and we're going to be throwing some sausage into our gravy. So let's make our biscuits first. And a little spin twist, we are putting them in a Dutch oven to throw on some coals. So we're going to take 3 cups of flour. I am going to be using the KitchenAid to really mix this together. If you don't have that, that's totally fine. You can do it by hand or with a fork. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to take 3 tablespoons of sugar. And I had to pull sugar from my house. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to whisk this together really quick. Okay. Half a teaspoon of salt. You want half a teaspoon of salt, so we're just going to kind of measure with our heart there.
You kicked the lid to
There's a malfunction back there.
You kicked the lid to the grill.
That's our salt there. I will say don't ever try not to put too much salt in biscuits. It can really mess up that texture.
I'm good, guys.
Half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. So this is 1 teaspoon, so we're just going to take half of that. Mix it together again, and we have 1 more dry ingredient to go, and that's going to be baking powder. I never used this recipe. 1 heaping tablespoon. Okay, so we're going to take 1 heaping tablespoon, his instructions, of baking powder. And this should be all of your dry ingredients in your biscuits. And the fun part comes the butter. So I'm just going to move this to the side really quick. And we're going to get our butter. We're going to do 3/4 of a cup. So that's a half. All right. Okay. Butter. Let me get a little bowl to just not make a mess, and we're going to take that in there. We should be okay. Alright, drop your cold butter. Please make sure it is cold. If you have frozen butter, you can actually use frozen butter as well.
This recipe.
Oh, is that his?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
By the way, support your guys, Kent Rollins,
we love him.
Old Fashioned Biscuits and Gravy.
There it is.
As a matter of fact, that picture is right there.
Oh, cool. Sausage gravy. I love that. So you want to squish down that butter so that it becomes flaky with the dry ingredients. If not, you're going to have chunks of butter and chunks of flour in your biscuits. So you're just going to keep on mixing and mixing. We may actually not need the KitchenAid because this thing's working pretty well.
Because they had no KitchenAid on the ranch when Kent's cooking out on the ranch.
That is very true. So because not a lot of people have the KitchenAid, we are going to do it this way. And it's really cool because this is what Kent Rollins uses to do it with. So you're just going to mash together with this thing here.
Why don't you explain who Kent Rollins is? Maybe they don't know. Maybe you're cook. Okay, I'll help you out.
Yeah. You could use a fork if you don't have a masher. I used a fork for a long time. My husband taught me to use a fork.
Let me explain who Kent Rollins is so you know what we're talking about.
Hold on. There you go.
So Kent Rollins is a chuck wagon cook who is also a YouTube celebrity, and we'll tag his stuff here. He kind of is my inspiration of why I started cooking 4 or 5 years ago, because I was watching his show on YouTube, and it just really resonated with me because I like the way he does things, right? And so ever since then, we've done a lot of Kent Rollins recipes. I've got all his books. But so if you don't know who he is, he's a famous chuck wagon cook that actually cooked out on ranches, out of the chuck wagon for years and years and years. Really has a love and a passion for food, and he actually beat Bobby Flay in the chicken fried steak contest, right, on one of the cooking channels TV shows. So amazing recipes, but he does everything that we cook on a ranch in the middle of nowhere with no electricity. So that's why we're doing it this way, because on a ranch, or if you're out camping or whatever and you want to make biscuits, you don't have to bring a KitchenAid. You can do it like this. So that's a little explanation to Ken.
This is Pops for Pop's Kitchen. I tagged him in my last video, but for my channel, this is who he is. This is my dad. Let me show you the texture. You want to keep going a little bit more, but this is what it should look like once that butter has fully incorporated with your flour. We're going to keep going a little bit, so when you get here where there's still some chunks, just know keep going just a little bit farther. You need 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk, so we're going to quickly make some buttermilk. You do want to make sure that you are using... You do want to make sure that you are using a liquid measuring cup and not a dry. There is a difference. We're going to take lemon juice. And I'm going to eyeball it because I've made it a few times, but you want to put, for a 1/4 cup, I'd put about a 1/2 teaspoon in there. You need to let it set for 10 minutes to truly get to that buttermilk consistency. But we're going to mix it up real well. You got a flick of the wrist. I'll see you guys back in 10 to show you that consistency. The best tip I can give to knowing that your buttermilk is ready is 2 things. When I lift up this, you can see the drippings on there. And on the brim of your bowl, you can see the milk kind of, it's not spoiling per se, but you can see the little milk. So, here's our biscuits. We're going to add in that buttermilk. And mix. There's a lot of background noise, sorry. There we go. Shoot to work. Alright. Mixed. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to use my hands to mix the rest. It's messy, but it's so worth it. I need all y'all to stop staring at me. Stacy stared at me, copying me. Josh was fucking eyeballing me.
I'm hungry. I don't know what else to tell you.
Got a bunch
You
of hungry vultures
right
in
now.
here. Alright, so take your hand and just mix the rest of that together. You want it to be this wet consistency.
Why?
Because if you have a dry consistency, your biscuits are going to be dry.
And nobody likes a dry biscuit.
No.
We like our biscuits moist.
Moist.
Very moist.
I'm going to pour vinegar in here. I don't like that word if you can't tell. This is the consistency of your biscuits you want. Now, if you're in a different altitude, that does change a lot of things, even when making bread. So if you realize it's too dry, add you a little bit more buttermilk, tablespoon at a time. You don't want to go overboard. If it's too wet, where there's still a liquid and not a solid base, then add a little bit more of your flour, just a tad bit, one at a time. So now it's time to ball these up and put them in our Dutch oven. Let's go grab our Dutch oven.
What you got there, Scotty?
My little Dutch oven. This ain't even the big one.
That's all right. So he went and got it out from the fire because you do need a hot Dutch oven. I'm going to add butter. It's just what I do to add that extra flavor.
A well-seasoned cast iron should be nonstick.
Yes. So we've got a ton of butter on the bottom, which is just going to add some flavor to your biscuits. And then we're going to take I took off your rings. They're going to get dirty, so if you want, take off your rings. Okay.
Roll up pretty good.
Yeah.
Can't roll real good.
Well, they're very sticky. All right. Nope. Never. So we're going to take this and put it right on the inside of that. And we're going to get us some more biscuit. They don't have to be perfectly sized. Just try not to have a huge biscuit and a tiny biscuit. You want a good medium to your biscuits. Roll them up the best that you can. Again, they're sticky. Do not add flour to make it easier to coil up.
You want to give them a little room to spread out too.
Yeah, I'm just laying them in there and then we'll move them around. Because that butter will allow you to be able to move them around. Alright, there's another biscuit. Move it to the side there. Because they're gonna swell up. So you don't want them to be too close together because then you could possibly have a raw side. And you don't want that either. Okay. It's like messing with dumplings. If you ever mess with dumplings, that's how it feels in your hands. Okay. I'll lay that down on the side right there.
Because we like them thick.
And moist.
Like our briskets, our biscuits, and our whip, and our bitches. The 3 B's. Our brisket, our biscuits, and our bitches.
Alright, so we're going to paste this on the side here. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, we'll have just enough to
Not-
fill
not
this
strong
pan.
enough for me.
I might actually
Yeah.
have a little left
One of
over.
If that flavor was in one of these,
Yeah, I know.
it just doesn't hit hard enough for me. It tastes good.
If you don't like this feeling on your hand, you can add a little bit of water.
I like
It
it.
doesn't bother me.
It's good.
So we're going to add that there. We're going to do one more for the middle.
Because we know the middle's always the best biscuit.
Yes.
We fight. We literally fight over the middle biscuit.
Over that
in
middle
this house.
biscuit. All right. Here we go. My hands are getting very sticky, so it's sticking to me, but that's okay. I did want to apologize to you guys for the lighting in some of this video. I know it's not the best quality, but I wanted to get this out to you guys because I really enjoyed making it. We have a really good camera. There's just so many functions to it. I'm trying to figure out why it keeps focusing in and out no matter the lighting that I have. I think I've got it figured out. I have another video coming up. But beside that point, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. I love creating content and just talking to people and having friends. And you guys to me are like family, and just friends that I don't get to see all the time, long distance friends. And I love, 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 love posting on YouTube. I prefer it over posting on TikTok. But now to the nitty gritty part that you guys are really wanting to be here for. I am doing a giveaway to just show so much appreciation. I hit 5,000, a little over 5,000 now on TikTok, and I'm just trying to continue to grow here. When I first came back to YouTube, I had, I think, maybe 60, 50, 60 subscribers, and now I am up about 100 from that. So this is just to show you guys and say a wonderful thank you to you for being here. I have a Apple Pencil for a second generation that I am giving away. To enter, all you have to do is comment down below your favorite dish or something that you would like me to make and show you guys. That is one entry. The second way to get entered as well is to subscribe and like this video. Each one of those gets you a different entry. And then one last thing is to go over to my TikTok, which is in the bottom of this description box, and hit a follow button there. All 4 of those will give you an entry to win that Apple Pencil. I will be shipping it out once I decide a winner on May 31st. I will be reaching out to you and sending that over to you. There's no cost to mailing, so if you get anything saying that you have to pay for shipping and you'll get it, that is not me. I will be paying for shipping and I will send it directly to you. This is, again, just to show you guys how appreciative I am of you and how thankful I am that you're here and supporting me. Love you guys, and thank you for watching the rest of this video. Cooking up our sausage. We may need to add a little bit of bacon grease for that gravy, but we'll let this completely cook before we decide that. Good thing about cast iron and wooden utensils is you can lay it right on top instead of making a mess everywhere else.
Turn this in case there's a hot spot cooking somewhere we don't know about. Turn it quarter every so often, and that keeps the coals changed in positions. And I don't have my tool.
Me and my husband keep some bacon grease at our house, so I went ahead and added some to help out to make this gravy. But our sausage is ready, so I'm gonna make a little well in the middle right there. And we're gonna take some flour. I used to be really intimidated on making gravy. I really was. But I tell you, the first thing you ever really want to learn to make is gravy. It's pretty ill-proof, I guess you could say. So we're going to add this to that grease there. You want to soak up all the grease with the flour. It's kind of like making a roux. And make sure all that gravy's soaked up. There's still some here, so I'm going to add a tiny bit more flour. We're going to continue to soak up that grease there. Okay, we're going to add a little bit more. Right now we're at probably about 3/4 of a cup of flour to 1 pound of sausage. I did have to add grease. If you don't have bacon grease, you can just add oil or lard or whatever you have in your kitchen. Okay, as you can see now, there's no grease left. Now we're going to add in our milk. So we did about 1 cup of flour to 1 pound of sausage with about 2 tablespoons of added bacon grease. Oh, here. Okay, let's mix that together. Don't get intimidated by how much liquid there is. You want to mix very well so you don't have floury clumps in your gravy.
You can put heavy cream in it too, or half.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Half and half.
It's already thickening up, so we're going to add the last bit of this, and then we're going to take, if you have half and half or heavy whipping cream, you can add that as well. And half and half is just part milk, part heavy cream. This game is just stirring and finding that right consistency. We don't need any more flour. We're just going to go with the milk. I am going to turn this heat down just a tad bit. I'm going to take some more half and half.
The barbecue sauce. How many days you smell?
Thick and fluffy. Just a tad bit more, I think we'll be alright. So right now we're probably at about 2 cups of milk. Maybe 2 1/4. We may have to add a little bit more, but you want to turn that heat off before you decide that. Because that heat will continue to make this really thick. My husband taught me that.
Yep, the hot ones are always thick.
Alright, I want to add just a little bit more. And I think we'll be just fine. And as you start to cook the gravy, you will learn what the right consistency is. Your heat defines it. There's a lot that goes into factoring how to make gravy. Do we want it a little thinner? Alright, so now we're probably at about 2 3/4 cups. Make that just 3. I do use a lot more milk than I say. I constantly am saying, oh, this should be enough. We should almost be done with milk. But like I said in the video, it is super easy to fix a error on gravy, whether adding more flour or more milk, and just finding that right consistency. I didn't want to have super, super thick gravy. I wanted like a good medium thickness to that consistency. That's why I kept adding a little more milk even after I said I was done. But you turn off that heat. Once you do that, you really get to realize how much milk or how little milk you need left, where it's at, where to keep going forward at. So that's kind of what you'll see here. When I keep talking about adding it, that's my bad. And if it's a little shaky, hubby was my cameraman at this point, and he is not the greatest, but I do love him. Also, that seasoning I'm using is called SPG. You can get it from Tractor Supply, Amazon. If you're in Texas or have an HEB, you can also get it from there. We die. All right, our biscuits are ready. Come on in, Pop. I'm laying something down because it is hot. You do not want to mess up your countertops. And we need to get them out there pretty quick because they will continue to burn and cook on that bottom because that cast iron is hot. It holds that heat.
Oh, very soft.
Okay. All right, so we are ready to go. Eggs on the Blackstone, bacon on the Blackstone. Call me crazy, but I like to add jelly to my biscuits and gravy, so I add some homemade canned jelly. And we're going to try it out with you guys. Look how fluffy those biscuits are.
They're so thick and filling. The reason Kent made those a lot of times for those cowboys, a lot of times they didn't have time to stop and eat lunch. So he needed to feed them a breakfast that would get them all the way through dinner. These biscuits will absolutely stick to your gut all day. I mean, you talk about ain't never been so full in your life, eat some of these biscuits.
Yes.
It's not like canned biscuits you get from the store.
No. And it is so flavorful, so thick. And that SPG, I'm telling you, add it to your gravy. You won't regret it. I hope you guys like this video. I hope y'all like me being in Pop's kitchen with him. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.